Hey everybody, and welcome to the Circles and Squares News Report for Monday, September 12th, 2022, part of the Circles and Squares podcast experience. Of course, I'm James, that's Katie, and welcome to NFL Football Sunday, everybody. The NFL is back. I got my Packers hat on. My fantasy team is sucking ass right now. Joe Burrow, I think, forgot how to play football. Kate, it's been a mess.
Wow, Joe, come on,
I know.
Joe.
He had negative 0.14 point. That doesn't mean anything to you, but he was very bad. He basically was playing a game of Smash Bros. And just ran immediately off the edge to take his first two stocks away of his own.
That's pretty BM, Joe. Come on, someone does that to you in a match. It's what an asshole.
It's pretty bad. So aside from him ruining my fantasy day so far, though, it's been very good. Happy to have it back. And how are you?
Good. Just did a good workout on the way here, and now we're here. And, things are good. I'm killing it more than Joe Pro today.
Jeez. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, this is not a football podcast, of course. This is where we talk about video game news. So we're going to do just that. Of course, starting with some PlayStation news, and then we're going to move into just a smattering of release dates and announcements that have come out over the last little bit. Go through some of those. And then, you know what? Elden Ring is going to make an appearance at the end for our fun story because it just has to show up somehow, some way. So look forward to that at the end of the show. But let's get right into our first story today, which is that Jim Ryan has kind of called out Xbox over their promises over Call of Duty. So basically, Phil Spencer had made a statement. Of course, Xbox has bought Activision Blizzard. Now they are the owners of Call of Duty, even though COD is still on PlayStation for the time being. But Phil Spencer apparently offered a deal of such to extend Call of Duty being on PlayStation beyond what is the current contractual agreement that they're still bound by. So I guess the crux of it is that he's offering something that he doesn't really have to offer that extra 3 years, aside from if he thinks it makes sense for Xbox to keep it on both platforms. And so Jim Ryan has come back out and made a statement, of course, the head of PlayStation, basically saying that it's inadequate. Microsoft has only offered Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle. Kate, reaction?
Okay, I think an important part of the puzzle for this too is I guess when they bought Activision, they promised that they'll be on PlayStation for at least several more years. There was a vague don't worry, it'll be on there for at least several more years. So I guess several means 3.
Well, I see the way I interpret it is that there was the several years built already into the contract with it's going to be on PlayStation before Xbox even bought it, so they had to honor that agreement.
Yes.
And then what I think this is saying is that Xbox is offering an extra 3 years on top of that already bound agreement, which to me seems generous because they don't have to do it at all.
Yeah, I think I see it from both sides. You don't have to offer those 3 years, so that's kind of nice to do so. But then I also see the argument from the other side of it's kind of shitty for all the players who've been playing on PlayStation for 20 years and want to keep playing Call of Duty because it's a big franchise and, that's important to a lot of people. And it just comes back to the whole, it's a really good marketing decision to buy companies and have game exclusivity, but it really sucks for people playing games because they don't have access to all their games anymore.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I mean, I would imagine a lot of people, Call of Duty is the juggernaut of the world in games, right? It's just so big, or one of the biggest ones. If it was to become something that was exclusive, I think it would really be one of the few games that could do that and get people to be oh, I'm just gonna buy an Xbox then. Screw it, I only have this PlayStation to play Call of Duty really. And the other games, sure, you maybe check out a few, but if you're mostly on there playing Warzone or Call of Duty or whatever, you're just gonna go where your friends are playing the game you like the most. Yeah. It kind of makes sense. And Xbox is going to make it so appealing because over those 3 years, it's going to be hey, you don't even need to buy an Xbox. You can go on your computer, you can play on your phone, you can stream it from your TV, you can plug a little Chromecast in and play it off that. There's going to be so many options that it maybe they're banking on hey, you know what, we'll give these extra 3 years, set all that stuff up. And then by the time that everyone needs to move to Xbox, they'll be pissed originally and then just be oh, actually that wasn't too bad. I'll just keep playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, and you're right too. And Call of Duty is definitely one of those games where there's a relatively large subsection of people that like just play Call of Duty and don't play tons of other stuff. Like it is one of those like
it's its own thing. It's like WoW or like League of Legends or something like that.
Yeah, like people who like play Fortnite and whatnot. But it just kind of sucks, especially since Call of Duty, like one of the big does it have crossplay?
Yep.
It's one of the big crossplay games too, right? So right now it's like it's totally fine if you guys all have different consoles because you play together, but it's like, no, fuck your friend on PlayStation now.
Well, you know the other thing too about this, which like I gotta say this is kind of funny though, like taking the consumer side out of it, because I think it's better to have it everywhere. Like coming from the consumer side, I want it everywhere. Like not that I will probably play a lot of Call of Duty, but I'd like the option. Like I don't, you know, it makes it better for me. But the funniest part of this to me is like, does this not seem a little, you know, or at least the wording a little childish from Jim Ryan? Like it's almost like, oh, they're, you know, the other kids at the playground have candy from their parents and my mom won't let me have candy. Like at the end of the day, it's kind of like, you know, I get what you're saying. I know you want to have this experience, but first of all, like, you know, Xbox owns this now. Like you want to guarantee them having the best, you want to guarantee that be the best on PlayStation. It's like, well, it's owned by the other company. You think they're going to put more resources, it's going to be better over there. You're not going to be able to hold on to that. And it just kind of seems like, you know, it's an unfortunate business thing, but it's like out of his control. You know, they bought it. Like, what are you going to do? You can't just whine and be like, you have to keep it on my PlayStation. You know, like it's a little petty if you take it like that. It
does kind of seem. I feel like this article reads a lot different versus like, oh, this is inadequate and like this sucks versus like, oh, you know, we're really disappointed because we feel like this will impact our players and, you know, we don't want them to, you know, like really make it from like the player perspective. I think that article reads like a lot less like kind of petty and awkward.
But here's the other point though. Here's the other point is that, so Ryan's quote exactly was, their proposal was inadequate and failed to take account the impact on our gamers. Hey, Jim Ryan, how about the impact of increasing the price of the PS5 everywhere in the world? What about the impact on the gamers like that? Oh wait, this article is only going to be read in the US where you didn't do that, so everyone can just pretend it didn't happen. And like it, you know, like where's the impact of that? And do you think PlayStation, if they had bought Call of Duty, would extend Xbox an extra 3 years of having it? Like there's no way. It's so hypocritical to me.
Yeah, that is a really good point, because would they have given them the 3 years? Maybe, but like, you know, but to impact on our gamers, you just increase the price of the console. And he's right. Like that is the right thing to say. Like the right takeaway is that it sucks for them, and like it's not about how much money you make. But yeah, it is very like kind of, when you look at it in the broader contest, it's like there's so many other things that could be done to like be better for the impact of the gamers.
It's a little bit like saying it but not talking the talk but not walking the walk in every way, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But it's easy to call them out because they're the bad guys, right?
Sure. But it's an interesting story anyway, and I mean, I'm just glad at the end of the day that I'm not really too bothered where Call of Duty lives. Myself.
You better play it now before it goes.
I guess. Okay, next story, Kate. Let's move along to something a lot more, I guess, positive and inspiring. And this is a story from Stray. So everyone knows Stray, the adorable cat game coming out, or that came out, I think, last month, and was pretty successful. And so they have partnered with the ASPCA, which is, it's a pet rescue. And I forget where it's from.
It's the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
Exactly. So I guess there's been a lot of social media where people have been like taking pictures of their pets like next to the cat from Stray, and they're getting confused and barking at the TV and stuff like that. And so they're asking people to send in all these kinds of videos and pictures, and the studio's PlayStation's going to make a $25,000 donation, as well as like a digital photo book of all these kind of loving moments around the game, and donate it to the ASPCA as a kind of a thank you for what they do. So I think that's just a really lovely story, and it's like this is why video games are awesome.
Exactly. Like this is like, you know, impact on your players, but like impact on your community and all these kind of things. And you know what's really funny about this is Stray is a game that I've wanted. Like I was really excited about it, and especially on release, like I got kind of caught up in the hype, and I kind of forgot about it because, you know, like people stop talking about it, you get busy playing other
something
things.
Else comes out 2 days later.
But now I'm super back on the Stray hype train, and so these submissions you can send in for this art bug are gonna go till September 23rd. So I'm genuinely considering, like, I could get Stray, like, me and my cat will play it. It'll be so cute, and I could send one in.
You should. You really should. You got time.
Got time. I might do it. I'm in the middle of, like, I'm in that exact perfect stage right now, too, where I just beat a game. Inscription. Ooh.
Next week.
Oh, I just ran through it. So I just beat Inscription. I was like, I need a new game to play. It could be Stray.
Could be Stray, but it also could be Metal Hellsinger and
right.
What's the other one next week? Plague Tale.
Yeah, that's right. I got a busy week.
Man, yeah, that's gonna be busy. Wow,
that's gonna be good.
Are you actually gonna start both of those, like, for real?
I mean, yeah, Metal Hellsinger probably first. But I'm definitely gonna play Plague Tale pretty quickly after that. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna play, Hellsinger too.
Man, I'm so excited.
It's gonna be good. And speaking of other games we might get to play in the future as well. New PS Plus games have been announced for September, and they are as follows. We have Need for Speed Heat coming for a PS4 version of that game, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, as well as Toem, which is the PS5 game that we get. And that's the little, like, indie photography game. It's all black and white, and you're kind of walking around, but then when you go into the camera, you get, like, that first-person view. I remember that game got really good reviews when it came out, and it's like little puzzle solving, little characters and stuff. I'm actually really down to try Toem, I think.
Yeah, that game looks super cute. Like, this is one of those games where I was like, oh, when it goes on sale, maybe I'll pick it up. But it's great. I don't have to. It looks adorable. The art is obviously amazing, and it's just one of those, I think, supposed to be kind of like quirky, like bit of puzzles, bit of like fun characters that you meet kind of game. Yeah, it looks good.
I know. I'm excited too because I really don't know much about it. It's like that's what I expect. Like, but I really don't know. So it could be nice to, like, go into something when you're not so up on it.
Fingers crossed, Lovecraft horror halfway through the game.
Yeah. I'll let you know if I play.
Always my dream.
What about Grand Blue, Kate? I know we were talking about Guilty Gear the other day, or a couple episodes ago, and this is from the same developer, right?
Yeah. So this is Arc System Works as well. It's basically like the medieval fantasy version of
it looks very
like
similar. It looks very similar.
Yeah, I mean, they use their patented, like, amazing art style that only they can do. It looks good. I mean, if you like Guilty Gear, you probably like this. I think they play relatively similar, as far as I know.
Yeah, I guess. Cool. Yeah. Well, that's that. Deathloop apparently is also coming to Extra and Premium. I just found this out now, reading the article, everybody. That's exciting. That might be when I subscribe to the Extra, I think, because I've had the Deathloop. It's been out of my mind for long enough now to cleanse me from those 55 showcases that it was in beforehand. And now I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, so. I mean, you could double feature and get Stray on there too. Ooh.
It's a good. Oh, now you're thinking.
You and Clementine.
Oh my God,
Stray.
We should.
It'd be so cute.
We should. Oh
James has a hedgehog named Clementine.
Maybe
for anyone who doesn't know.
Maybe she'll make an appearance one day on the
She's
show.
Adorable.
We'll see. Maybe we'll play Stray together, and she'll have to be in a post about that.
You and Clemo could post. Yes.
All right, so we have done that. Let's move to the next part of the show then, Kate, which is, man, there's been a lot of things released and announcements, and there was a Ubisoft show and all different types of things that have happened over the last few days. So we're going to go over some of those. The first one is that Marvel's Midnight Suns officially has another release date because it didn't come out in October. It didn't come out, I believe, did it get rescheduled again for November? I don't remember. But either way, it's now coming out allegedly on December 2nd. And I don't think there was really any real announcements, more than that when they announced this release date. But I know I'm pretty excited for this game. I think you're the same, right?
Yeah, this looks pretty cool. I don't know if it's necessarily a day one purchase, but it's definitely a game that will go on my list.
Yeah, and we were saying before too, well, does have the December 2nd release date. It doesn't have a release date on Switch. And there's part of me, like you mentioned too, it's like, man, maybe it's worth waiting to see when it comes out on Switch, just to see if it's a good version, like, because this is the type of thing like the XCOM strategy and it's got like the build relationships with the different heroes and stuff like that. Like, I could totally see that being an amazing handheld game if it's good.
Turn-based strategy games always hit for me better on handheld for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because they're like slower paced or what it is, but for some reason any style, or maybe I just played so many of them on handheld. I think
it's because you can do something else while you're playing it, because you can, like, it's so easy to just like be playing, I'm just watching something on TV, some of the exciting part now, it's a commercial, I'm back into this.
I guess that's true, but there's something about it, and I always think like, ooh, would that be good on Switch? Ooh, would that be good on Switch? And like, maybe the cutscenes won't look quite as pretty, but who really cares?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
As long as they're still playing Metallica, I'm in.
You can just watch the trailer on your TV, listen to the Metallica covers while you play the game.
Such a cool cover.
Man, I said to you already when we were chatting the other day, I was like, I'm pretty sure that Metallica music is not going to be in the final game, but if it is, I will buy this instantly, even if it gets 1 out of 10 for every outlet. I will buy it because that music is amazing. It's great. Okay, next story, we have a announcement from we're gonna save Ubisoft for last, right? So let's go. So Midnight Suns, we did that. We did another announcement for PS Plus. This I just wanted to, or not PS Plus, PSVR 2. Okay, I'm all over the place.
We're all over the place.
PSVR 2 coming out early next year, as we know, and I'd like to get one. And a game that I'm interested in playing got announced today, or a couple days ago on the 6th, which is Firewall 0 Hour 2, Firewall Ultra. And this is the kind of first-person shooter game that was apparently really fun on the original PS Plus. It's kind of like a SWAT. You're like going in there trying to defuse a bomb, and like it's got some, it's kind of like Counter-Strike, I guess, in certain ways, but it's like a VR, and you're holding a gun and all this stuff. Not usually what I wouldn't have any interest if it wasn't VR, but just because I know like some of the stories I heard about playing the first one, like chucking grenades and just being in that kind of environment in that VR setting, it sounds really cool, and I'm definitely interested in playing this with the PSVR 2.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big. Is it confirmed to be like a launch title for it?
That's a good question.
Because that would be a pretty big like launch title game to have.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say on the article here to be sure, but I mean it's been 5 years after the original game, after it says in the article. So I mean you got to think that they're planning around
I feel
launch
like
time,
they're
right?
planning around it, but just not saying just in case it takes longer and they like. So
That's
they
the smart
don't
way
have
to go.
delay
It's the smart way to go.
It is.
Okay, so there's that one anyway. Not much to say about it, of course. Just the fact that it exists is pretty cool. The next one we wanted to talk about here is actually a really big announcement that kind of came out of that Disney showcase over the weekend, I believe. And this is, so Amy Hennig's studio, we've all heard about. I think it's called, Skydance Media.
Yeah.
They've announced what their new project is. And of course, she has history with the Uncharted series. And this game is going to be featuring Captain America and Black Panther in World War II. And we have a little bit more detail in this article from PC Gamer, where Skydance described the game in a little bit more detail because the trailer really was nothing more than just
a tease.
It had like a little book and some music and like Captain America's shield. But it says the game is going to be a narrative-driven ensemble adventure game set in the Second World War, featuring 4 playable characters appearing at different parts of the story, including young Steve Rogers, Azuri, which is T'Challa's grandfather, World War II era Black Panther, that's him, and then Gabriel Jones, who's a soldier from the Howling Commandos. I guess that's where
I think Steve and Bucky's
and Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverine too.
Yeah, and then Nanali, who is a leader of a Wakandan spy network, and so promising.
This looks pretty cool. I'm so excited they gave a little more information because during the trailer, like, it didn't really show much, and then at the end it's just like king, captain, soldier, spy, and it was like, oh, is it gonna be like a 4-player? Like, I guess multiplayer is kind of cool, but it just made it seem like it was gonna be, I don't know, kind of like that other Avengers game, and there was concern.
Yeah, is there gonna be microtransactions all of a sudden?
Yeah, like what kind of online maybe thing
Are you grinding for different loot drops and stuff? Yeah.
But no, it seems like it is like just it doesn't specify single player, but it specifies narrative-driven, like, ensemble game, and you play as different characters throughout it. So I'm assuming it's kind of like a single-player thing. Maybe it could be cool if it was co-op and there were, like, 2 at a time.
If you always made sure in every scenario there was always 2 of them, so you could choose.
And you're, like, constantly, like, swapping characters. It actually does sound kind of cool.
Yeah, almost like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance sort of thing, but like, just instead of having a ton of characters with, like, fairly similar movesets, they could have, like, no, it's only these 4. You can control anyone at any time. They kind of come in and go out of the party, and it's like that sounds really cool to me.
Yeah,
honestly.
The one downside to this for me, is like, first of all, they said spy, and I was hoping that we get to play as Carter.
That's what I thought too, for sure.
Awesome character.
Yeah. But
like that's fine. And Ollie, like, of the Wakandan character, like, she sounds like she's gonna be fucking cool anyway, so that's fine. But the weird part to me is like, who's Gabriel Jones? Who the fuck? Like, I'm sure he's some guy in the comics people know about. But it's like, well, wouldn't Bucky have been a better choice?
Yeah.
Like, who's excited to play as Gabriel Jones?
Look, there's probably some really hardcore Marvel fan right now out there that's really pissed that you just said that.
Probably. There probably is. Like, I'm sure he's done some cool stuff and he's, like, a notable guy. But just for, like, the general person who's, like, gonna be potentially interested in a Marvel game. And then also, like, does he have anything, like, unique or interesting?
Well, he has a little musket here, if you see in the picture. Right? He's carrying a small rifle.
But, like, we know that the Wakandan warriors are, like, the most fucking badass people in the world. And then you have Captain America, and then you've got the Black Panther, and, like, they don't need, like, an introduction. But then you just have, like, you know, generic soldier dude, you know, Captain Jones.
Look, you gotta ground the story. Maybe he's the relatable one for the audience.
I guess so. It just seems like, you know, like when people talk about when, like, they read Game of Thrones and they did that horrible thing where they're like, oh, I didn't like that character, so just skip their chapters, and then they, like, read, you know, and then later on they're like, wait, why am I confused? Why don't I know who that is? Because it's very important. Never do that. But, like, I feel like it's gonna be one of those things where, like, yeah, it's so much fun being Black Panther. This is awesome. And then it's like, oh, I've got to be Soldier Jones for the next hour. Damn it.
Well, you know, the part of the thing I'm thinking is, like, the reason they didn't put Peggy and Bucky as, like, in the party is, like, are they going to be important, like, story NPCs or something like that? Like, maybe it would be harder to tell a sort of story if they had to be part of the party as opposed to, like, separate from you or something. I'm just trying to look up if I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate because that would be cool.
It's totally not a complaint of the game because, like, you know, we don't know enough about it, and, like, it's probably, like, they have a good story written for them. It's just kind of funny when you put those 4 characters out without any context.
No, sure,
it's like, okay, one of them doesn't really fit in.
It's pretty hilarious. I've just been trying to look up. Thank you for stalling for me.
Yeah.
If this game is Skydance Media, PlayStation exclusive studio. We should know this. I should know this, but I don't off the top of my head.
I don't know. They did.
I don't believe they are. And the reason I was thinking of this is because obviously this is being set in World War II and Howling Commando, like, they're naming the Howling Commandos. Insomniac's doing the Wolverine game.
That's right.
If this was PlayStation exclusive, I was going to be like, wow, maybe there's going to be some, like, introduction of, you know, those characters Wolverine? Might cross over somehow. But now that I think about it, I don't think it's exclusive, so that's probably completely out the window because otherwise,
cool.
yeah.
I mean, there might be, like, a little Wolverine reference in there, which would be cute, but it might not be exactly the, like, Insomniac.
It'll be like his dog tag, or it'll be like, oh, it looks like some of my squad mates were here, and there'll be, like, a sign with some claw marks on it or something, and that's all we'll get. Black
Panther's just gonna keep, like, clawing stuff, and then be like, oh, Wolverine! And it's, like, just Black Panther because he also does that.
Oh my god. All right, yeah, but anyway, that one I'm sure we won't see for at least a few years, but put it in the old thinking cap and don't forget about it because that sounds like fun. And I would love a game where, like, Black Panther and Captain America to me seem like the 2 of the best MCU heroes to, like, adapt into, like, a narrative sort of action game because of their, like, I just feel like they work so well. They don't have anything that's, like, really broken. Like, when you play if you're playing as Iron Man, like, you have to factor in that people can fly anywhere. Like, you can't, the game doesn't have to be, like, so extensive then if they can't have flying characters, you know. Still interesting enough. I just think they're good picks. So that's great. Last little bit of announcements here. There was a Ubisoft Forward, or maybe it should be called the Assassin's Creed Forward. So I think the best way to do this one, just because there was quite a lot of stuff announced, for humor value, I'm going to read every game that was announced in the studio in the showcase, but maybe we'll just pick out a few to talk about afterwards, okay? So Ubisoft Forward 2022 goes as follows. We got an update for Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, including, I believe they said about a Rayman DLC. I saw that later on. Yeah, it's not Rayman in this article, but that's interesting. We had Skull and Bones. We had Riders Republic Season 4, Tom Clancy's The Division 2, and The Division Heartland, and The Division Resurgence. And you might say, wow, that's a lot of Division games in a row.
You ain't heard nothing
just
yet.
After that, Rainbow Six Mobile, Trackmania, which is kind of cool. Just Dance 2023 still exists. And then here we go, folks. We have Assassin's Creed Mirage.
We're counting.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, The Last Chapter, which is DLC for Valhalla, obviously. We have Assassin's Creed Codename Jade, which is a mobile Assassin's Creed game. Assassin's Creed the Netflix series, Assassin's Creed the Netflix game, Assassin's Creed Codename Red, which is a Japanese inspired Assassin's Creed game, which is, quote, a very powerful shinobi fantasy. We have Assassin's Creed Codename Hexe. Not
how adorable.
Hexe.
Oh, this is the one everyone was like, oh, the new Blair Witch game looks good.
Yeah, right. It does look pretty creepy, but I mean, again, Assassin's Creed. And then we have Assassin's Creed Infinity, and I believe that's like the big platform live service one that's going to be like taking over the world in 2045 or something like that. And then we have an Assassin's Creed multiplayer game to finish it off. It looks as though it's, I don't even know what I would call this. The screenshot is like 4 assassins running, is like a platformer. I don't know. Anyway, that's all that was shown at this showcase. How many is that? 9?
That was 9 announcements.
It was 9.
9.
Pretty good. Anyway, anything stand out for you? I know it's probably not screaming that it's really a lot of stuff for us specifically.
Yeah, I'm not a massive Ubisoft.
Aside from Sparks of Hope for me personally.
Sparks of Hope, like, I'm so reluctant because I fucking hate Rabbids so much. But the first one was so good. And Sparks of Hope looks like it's gonna be amazing as well. I just really hope, please, don't force us to have Rabbids on our team before. Like, they knew in the first one, like, everybody hates Rabbids. Like, you're just gonna pick the Mushroom Kingdom characters and ignore the Rabbids, which is exactly what we wanted to do. So they made some, like, weird arbitrary rule where, like, you had to have at least one Rabbid on your team.
I know, it ruined my team building.
It ruined my team, so I hope, but I really enjoyed the game. So please, let me just remove the Rabbids. And let me play too. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm totally on that team as well. I don't want to play as the Rabbid. Rabbid Luigi was really good, but I don't want to be him.
I think that's who I had as well. I think I had Luigi and Rabbid Luigi.
So did I. And Mario.
I know. Might have been my team.
Yeah, I subbed one of them for Peach later on, I think, but I mean, who knows? I'm excited to play this for sure, but I'm not going to play day one. Like, this is going to be one of those, hey, it's Ubisoft. It's on sale for $29.99 in 6 months. I'd rather do that. There's so many other things. Exactly. But I'll definitely play this at some point.
Or it's like, oh, I beat Midnight Suns, and then I have a really, like, urge to play,
an RTS urge.
Like a strategy urge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. For me, I mean, shout out to Just Dance for still being out there, man. Like, power to you. But Assassin's Creed Mirage, I think, sounds kind of cool. It's, you know, more small scale, like sort of the first couple Assassin's Creed games. And they're just becoming like so big these days, you know, with Origins and like Valhalla just seems like this humongous map, like as big as Elden Ring, but there's like millions of markers all over it and you're like doing all these different things. It just seems like too much. And so the idea of like a smaller kind of Assassin's Creed thing is kind of appealing, but
yeah, that's probably the one that appeals to me the most, just because they say it's like an homage to the earlier games, and like I really enjoyed the first couple Assassin's Creed games back in the day, so like a more modern version of something like that actually could be kind of cool.
You know what would be really cool is that they just like did a big remaster style Assassin's Creed 1, like of the original. Or Assassin's Creed 2, I think that's probably a lot of people's nostalgic favorite pick, you know? And so, like, remaster that and use all the new mechanics. I think that could be really cool. But I think that, actually, it's funny I should say this, but I think the Netflix show actually could be cool. Like, I have my faith if it would actually be good is, like, you know, 50-50. But the idea of an Assassin's Creed universe, like, it could be a cool TV world.
It translates extremely well into TV, and so I want it to be good. Like, that's the other thing I'm excited about. Like, the movie that came out recently with
it was terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, that German actor who plays Magneto. What's his name?
Oh,
he was in it.
Yeah.
And that movie, it just sucked. Like, it was not a good movie. But there's no reason that it couldn't have been.
Michael Fassbender.
Yes, that's the guy. And it was just like, yeah, it wasn't good. But you could do a good TV show. There's no reason why they just can't be good just because it's based off a video game.
Oh, the reason is they rush them out to line up with game release dates. I don't know. I mean, that's a complete. I just made that up.
That's a good one. Like Castlevania, that was awesome. You know, some of the Pokemon movies have been pretty decent. Sonic is apparently doing okay, but I haven't seen them.
I like the Sonic movies. I think they're good. The first one especially. The second one, I
should get around to watching them. But like, it's possible. The Last of Us looks like it's gonna be good, so maybe they can make a good Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know who's making it, but
yeah, we like the Uncharted movie too.
I did like the
That was
Uncharted.
really
You're right.
fun.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I have like a 55% chance.
There's
of
a
it being good.
trajectory of like upwards. Like gaming stuff is going up. Not always. Apparently, the Resident Evil show was just like
That got canceled after
absolute
one
trash.
season. Yeah.
Yeah, but the trajectory is still at an upwards momentum.
You know what we should do one time as a tier list? We should get all the video game TV adaptations that have come out, or are going to come out, and like do like a list of like which are like the most excited, or like which ones are going to be the most likely to suck, stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We should.
You know what one I hope is fun, and this is probably like these are the two most exciting ones for me. I'm looking at Assassin's Creed Codename Red, which is the very powerful Shinobi fantasy, and I'm looking at Assassin's Creed Codename Hex, because that one looks very creepy. And there was like, I didn't watch the trailer, but you know, there's this Blair Witch style Assassin's Creed logo. There's like barking dogs and rotting trees, it says here.
Very scary.
You know, that seems quite scary. And if they were able to do horror games but in Assassin's Creed type of world, or execute this what looks to be, you know, like a ninja version of Assassin's Creed, paraphrasing obviously, I don't know, but like those look like cool ways to take the idea of being an assassin but not just sort of having that similar type of setting, you know.
Yeah,
even though they change the settings, it's always kind of like the same gameplay in a way.
Yeah, I just think like I'm just so tired of like the gameplay, I guess, and this one on the Japan one, which sounds like it would be cool, and like, you know, it's always a good setting. It's like a open world RPG one, and I just think of like how big the map and all the quest markers, and I just get so tired. So Hexy sounds maybe kind of neat. I would have been interested in the China one actually, just for like a bit more of a different setting. But apparently that's a mobile game, so I'm out.
You know what? You never know. Mobile games getting better.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be.
I don't think I'm quite there yet.
You got to get that PlayStation Backbone controller, and then you can play it like a real person.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
You know what?
The phone gets so hot, and like I just don't like using the touch screen.
You just got a new phone, though. To be fair,
that's true.
Your other phone. Well, you wouldn't play with a touch screen. I mean, have you ever seen? You know, I guess maybe I'm just sounding old here, but you know when you're like, you know, out somewhere and you see kind of teens and they're playing games on their phone, like high school kids, and they're like, they can actually do the touchscreen so well, and it's like a language that I don't have. It's like, oh my god, I feel so old.
It's like what our parents thought about us when we were like started texting, and they're like, oh my god, you can use the like whatever it was called where they had like
T9.
Yeah, that's right. They're like, I just can't figure it out.
Basically, yeah.
Yep.
Damn, it's happening.
It's happening. Fuck.
Yeah. Anything else from Ubisoft for you?
I just don't think we had enough Assassin's Creed games, to be honest. I feel like I was expecting like 30 and they only give us 9. Like, come on.
I was really hoping to see Assassin's Cart.
Assassin's Cart. They gotta save that to come out with Bloodborne Cart.
That would be amazing. They should be guest characters for the new Mario Kart.
They should.
Okay, last story of the day. Of course, we'd like to finish off with something funny and lighthearted. And this week, that is Elden Ring officially gets a manga. And it's a comedy, because why not? I don't know, Kate, where you take this one away. This is an interesting looking manga. To be honest, the art, I'm looking at the art on the IGN article. Like, it looks badass.
The art is fucking gorgeous. It reminds me, it's very similar to the art of my Bloodborne comics, which I'm super hyped about. But anyway, so the plot synopsis is Aso, a poor tarnished wretch, finds himself cast out in Limgrave, naked, penniless, hopeless, and, of course, maidenless. His only hope in this harsh, unforgiving new home is a mysterious woman named Melania. So this seems like absolutely amazing. I'm 100% going to read this. I think they're releasing it online, which is super cool. I think as of right now, the first 2...
online for free in 12 languages.
Online for free, 12 languages. I think the first 2 are out already, and then they're going to keep releasing them on once a month. So I'm definitely, like, I'm checking this out at work on Monday. Like, the day this comes out, I'm at work, I'm reading these, like, right now. But I actually think it's amazing. And, like, the one of the pillars of FromSoft games is that they're fucking funny. Like, they put stuff in there that's hilarious all the time, whether that be like mimics and like random stuff trying to troll you, like you know, the elevator, and like think of like Sen's fortress in Dark Souls. It's this like massive fortress, like swinging axes you gotta pass by, and like boulders that roll down on you, and like an elevator that just takes you up, and there's spikes at the top and kills you, and like they just constantly like do funny shit. Like,
I don't know if I find it funny.
But like,
it's in my...
I think it's supposed to be funny. Like, sure, it can be frustrating and annoying, but I think the idea is like they make like stupid stuff.
It's
right?
a bit of
like,
a gag when you take a step back.
Yeah, when you take a step back and you like you just have to transcend to the point when you're playing one of these games that like the dumb shit that happens is funny. Like, why are lobsters the hardest enemy in Elden Ring? Like,
they are.
I don't know, but they fucking are. So I think it being a comedy like actually totally works. But like all the big characters are in it, you know, like obviously Patch is gonna be there, the funniest character ever made, but like, you know, like all the big bosses and the big names, like Radagon's in there. We got like Melania.
Look at the fucking picture. Oh my god, everybody, you need to look at this.
The picture on the start is like you just like laying face down naked, and it just says the Elden Lord.
Oh my god.
There is canonically a starting class where you start just basically naked, the Wretch. So you do start as a Wretch here, but like, yeah, the big bosses are here. Vare's here to start you off. Like,
very interesting. You know, I might read this too. Maybe on our next episode next week, we'll have to have a manga 1 and 2 review for the second half of the show. We'll see what we think.
That's awesome. We're going to do it. It's going to be a good episode. We're going to talk in script. Well, I'm going to talk inscription. It's going to be awesome. And then we'll do some Elden Ring manga.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right. Well, I look forward to that next week. But that is the end of today's show, everybody. So again, thank you for joining us if you stuck around till the end. If you would like to get in touch and ask us some listener mail or let us know what your opinion is of the Bloodborne comic,
also, let me know about the Bloodborne comics, because those were also dope.
That's true. But if you want to give us your opinion on that or the Elden Ring comics, you can write to us at circlesandsquarespod@gmail.com.
Or if you just have some other comics you think, I'm very bored at work, everyone. Please, if you have any other comics that you think are good to read.
That Pokemon Diamond emulator just ain't cutting it.
Pokemon Diamond emulator is only getting me so far.
Please send help, everyone.
Please send help.
Send help.
I'm really struggling.
All right. Well, like we said, get in touch if you have anything to send in. Save Kate's life. And until then, we'll see you all next week. Take care. Have fun. And don't do drugs, everybody.